Hey everybody, this is Kate Lupo, your instructor tonight, founder of Entry Level Hollywood, and I'm so excited to be speaking with you guys up at Yale. As you come onto the training, just type in the chat box if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Say hello, give a little virtual wave, and we'll get started in a couple minutes. Hey Derek! Awesome. Excited to see you on there. Emily's here. Good. I'm happy you guys can hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah, we'll just get started in a couple of minutes. Maybe if you guys want to share with me, would love to see the variety of the different types of people that are on our webinar tonight, different types of students. So maybe if you let me know, hey guys, maybe you can let me know what your major is and what year you are. That would be very interesting for me to see while we just wait another minute or so for people to stream on. All right, just another minute or so. Wow, we've got a great packed group tonight. Love this. 38 peeps. Wonderful. All right, so Claire, she's a senior in English and creative writing. Fantastic. Sophomore in film studies, TJ. I love that you are taking initiative tonight and being on this call as a sophomore. I see more sophomores. Fantastic. Seniors in African American studies. Okay. Jordan's a sophomore in psychology, senior film and media studies. Very, very cool, you guys. I want you to know that I was an art history major. So a question we're going to get to at the end is, even if I'm not a film major, can I still work in Hollywood? And the answer is yes. So anyway, without further ado, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kate Lupo. This is my training Hired in Hollywood, and I'm so excited to be with you all tonight. So without further ado, let's begin. Tonight is my training Hired in Hollywood, where I'll talk about the four kind of fundamental steps, the four-step strategy my clients use to land jobs at top companies in Hollywood. And I really want to welcome all of you guys at Yale, and thank you to Derek Webster and the Yale Office of Career Strategies, Common Good, and Creative Careers Initiative. You guys are really, really lucky to have a career office that is super dedicated to your success. I've been lucky enough to work with Derek Webster, who's also on the training tonight. This is the second year that we've collaborated on this training together. And it's such a wonderful thing that you guys have these resources for you. And Derek is super dedicated to helping you guys in your job hunt. So make sure you use their office and this incredible initiative they're working on for all of you. So anyway, welcome, welcome. Thank you all. And so let's just get down to it. So here's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Here we go. Entry-level jobs in the entertainment industry are competitive and hard to find. It's just a fact, you guys. And I'm sure you probably already know this. So how do you get your foot in the door? How do you prepare? This is going to be a 1-hour online training tailored for those of you seeking entry-level jobs or even internships as assistants in the business and development side of the entertainment industry. So you're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at the Hollywood assistant culture, the entertainment industry's hiring process in both LA and New York. We're going to talk about kind of what New York is like and what LA is like as well. I'm partial to LA, you'll see, but I will show you kind of the pros and cons of each. You will learn tips on how to network your way into Hollywood, how to revamp your resume, and also how to interview like a pro. You will also gain insight into different career paths in the business and development side of television and film. And perhaps most importantly, you guys, you're going to learn the importance of developing those survival skills, thick skin and savvy you need to actually successfully start a career in Hollywood. It's not easy, guys. It's not butterflies and rainbows. That's why I started this initiative. That's why I started teaching these workshops, because I'm here to tell you the truth and to give you the tools I wish I had known before I started working in Hollywood. All right. So let's keep going. Hired in Hollywood. So who's this training for? Who's going to benefit the most? So a lot of you on here, I see a lot of you are young, you're sophomores, which is fantastic. Actually, the earlier you get this information, the better. Thrilled to see you on here. But for any of you, this is a training for people who are interested in potential career goals of being a talent agent, talent manager, development executive, studio executive, network executive, TV or motion picture producer, TV or motion picture writer. Perhaps you have a dream of working in the corporate side of Hollywood, whether it's like marketing or publicity, or you're just not sure yet and you really want some help. A lot of you probably fall in this kind of last category and you want to kind of figure out what the next steps are. But if any of this sounds really exciting to you, then you're in the right place. My promise to you guys. So I promise that if you stay into the end of this training, you're going to be, number one, re-energized to tackle your job hunt with the confidence you need to get hired faster, whether it's an internship this summer or actually getting a job after graduation. Equipped with the tools you need to see major progress in your job hunt. Typically, my tools help people get hired once you actually are like legitimately in the job hunt. If you're a college senior, you probably need to start this spring, but networking should start much sooner than that. I try to help people get hired in 90 days or less typically, but if you guys are still in school, it's going to be a longer timeline. And then you'll be inspired to make a difference and become a rising star in the industry. And again, stay into the end, you guys. Don't miss out. And make sure you stay, because at the end of my training tonight, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more about how I help people get hired. And I'm going to be extending a very special opportunity for you to be able to speak with me one-on-one after our training, okay? So stay into the end. And little housekeeping, just be present, everyone. This is going to be a 1-hour training, and it's going to go by very quickly. I talk very fast. So to get the most out of this training, please be present with me. Turn off your phone, turn off all distractions. And also, I'm terrible at this. I typically have 30 tabs open at once in my computer. Make sure you close out all other tabs, because that will make sure that the Wi-Fi is most concentrated on our presentation tonight. And then take good notes. Get out a piece of paper, get out a pencil, or open up a Word document or a Google Doc. Take good notes. It's the sign of a good Hollywood assistant. I'm going to be giving you a lot of information. Want to make sure you have it all. Techie stuff. Again, this presentation will run best if you have a strong internet connection and close out other tabs. If you have any problems hearing me or seeing the presentation at all at any point during our time together, just refresh the page. And then the replay. This is why I love this technology so much. It allows me to teach in classrooms all over the world. And after our presentation today, I'll also be able to send you the replay of this training in your inbox. So you'll be able to have access to this replay. And I also know that Derek's office is going to be saving a copy of this in perpetuity in their office as well. Ignore the 48 hours element there. It'll be available to you whenever you need it. And save your questions till the end, you guys. This is a joke. I don't know if you guys know the Cake song. It's always my good goal to be fast, thorough, and sharp as a tack with this training. So to save time, I'm going to be going through frequently asked questions and opening up to questions at the end. So save it until the end. And again, stay until the end of the training so you don't miss out on the opportunity to potentially speak with me one-on-one about your job hunt. Here's our agenda. Again, our welcome we're going to have, then a little breakthrough activity. I'm going to keep you guys on your toes, because I'm not going to I'll be talking to you, but I want you to give me some feedback about your goals. We're going to talk about 5 hard truths about the Hollywood job hunt. I always start with hard truths because you've got to start with the tough stuff first, and it's all downhill from there, okay? Then we'll talk about step 1, which is resume success principles. Step 2, how to ace those Hollywood interviews, my favorite thing to teach. Step 3, the art of networking. Step 4, important job hunt resources and tools for Hollywood. These are the websites you must know about. Next steps towards getting hired, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the special opportunity for you guys. And then we'll talk about questions. All right, so let me introduce myself again. My name is Kate Lupo. I'm the founder of EntryLevelHollywood.com. And it's my mission to train and empower the next generation of high-achieving, compassionate, and diverse Hollywood leaders who will bring positive change and innovation to the entertainment industry. And what I do is I'm a career coach. I help college students and recent graduates land internships and entry-level jobs at top companies in the entertainment industry. So between my private programs, my online trainings, my newsletter, my online course, I've helped thousands of people over the past 2 years. I started Entry Level Hollywood about 2 years ago. And what happened was I actually started my Hollywood career in the mailroom of ICM Partners. And we're going to be talking a lot about talent agencies today, you guys, and I'll explain why more later. Started in the mailroom of ICM Partners, worked my way up to TV lit assistant, and then to coordinator of the television department at one of the top talent agencies in the world. And then I did so well that I was chosen as a top Hollywood assistant to watch in Variety magazine. That's where the green line is. That's me in a leather jacket. Ha. Oh, and by the way, as you can tell, I love emojis. So hopefully you guys are seeing this little Where's Waldo game I'm playing with you, where on every page there's a little emoji. So I hope you can find them on every page. So I was named a top Hollywood assistant to watch. I was actually on track to become a talent agent, but decided it wasn't the right career for me. And kind of informally on the side, as I was transitioning out of the industry, out of the agency, a lot of people just started reaching out to me like, hey, Kate, saw you were in Variety. Hey, Kate, saw you were at ICM. My husband's daughter's boyfriend's son, wants to get hired in the industry. Can you help him? And just kind of as a side project, really just pro bono to help people. I've always loved mentoring people. I've always loved helping out. I started helping people with their interview prep and job hunt prep. And every single person I helped started getting the job, you guys. And it was this sort of thing where I realized that what I was doing was something that I'm just trying to make sure that this is, let me just make sure that this is sized up okay. Hopefully you guys can still see. Woohoo. I soon began to realize that every single person I was coaching and giving that tough love and that information about the job hunt, they were getting hired, especially when I would be referring them to these kind of top companies where I knew the recruiters. So I realized that I had a really valuable information, and that I kind of looked around and realized that nobody else was doing this, kind of providing that link between college and the real world for young people that wanted to get hired in the industry. So I formalized entry-level Hollywood, and I started giving speeches on this topic. First at UCLA was my first speech. That was 2 years ago. And then I kind of launched this full-time about 1.5 years ago, and I've been just giving lectures and talks, and I gave my talk at Yale last year. And I've given talks at Yale now, Dartmouth, Georgetown, UCLA, Middlebury, which is my alma mater, American University, and many more amazing places where I've had the privilege of speaking with amazing students like you guys. Here's just some of our photographs. That's Yale from last year, you guys, look. And I want you to know that there was one very enterprising student who came up to me last year and wanted to chat with me separately. And now he is working at one of the top talent agencies in the world. And I helped him. We worked together, and and he's just one of the most special people I've ever worked with. So this is just such an amazing opportunity for me to connect with wonderful people like you guys. And no matter what, this information is going to help you in your job hunt and beyond. So the way I work is that I do have these kind of private programs I do, and I've helped over 75 people get hired in the past 1.5 years. I've helped 1,200 students in person and online over the past couple years, thousands of peeps on my email list, and I've helped people get hired at all of these companies below, which I'm super proud of, and it's really exciting. And I know that you guys are going to be the future leaders of this industry as well, and I can't wait to help you. So first step, you guys, in our training, before we even begin to talk about next steps towards getting you guys hired in Hollywood, it's very important that we get clear on your goals and why you want to work in the industry in the first place. So it's my mission to train and empower kind of the next generation of high-achieving, compassionate, and diverse Hollywood leaders who are going to bring positive change and innovation to the industry. You guys, I'm sure, have been seeing a lot of really negative publicity recently about various, unsavory topics in Hollywood. It's a very, very tumultuous time in the industry. And that's why I think my mission is just so powerful. I'm really trying to help get a new generation of leaders in the door who are compassionate and diverse and highly intelligent and high achieving that can help bring change to this industry that we love. So to start, we're going to do an important exercise together, okay? So let's begin. Zooming out, I want you guys to get your pieces of paper and your pencils out, okay, or your Word docs out. Let's talk about macro, you guys. How do you want to contribute to the entertainment industry? This is not like Entourage. This is not like The Wizard of Oz. It's not going to be butterflies and rainbows. So we have to have that carrot at the end of the stick for your job hunt. We have to have the guiding star for you as you go into this process. And you need to start with the end in mind. So think big. What do you want your legacy to be in Hollywood? Do you want to bring more diverse voices to the screen? Do you want to help more Asian American actors land leading roles in films? These are just, just spitballing here. I would like you guys to actually type out a sentence about why you want to work in Hollywood and what you want your legacy to be. I want you to think big. And you know what? We'll take a second. I'm going to give you guys a minute because this is such an important question. Foundational question. And I want you to type it into the chat box. There might be a little bit of a delay, but I want to read a couple of them so we get inspired together. All right, so take a minute to do that and type it in the chat box, and let's share. I'm just going to take a sip of water while you guys do that. All right, so while you guys are typing, I'm going to keep going to give you even more more inspiration as you think about this. You could even get more specific as you type. What does your ideal day look like? When you imagine yourself as a successful person in Hollywood, who are you? What is your title? What are you doing? And a lot of you this might be very, very early for you guys still. But still, you might have a conception of, oh my God, like I really want to be on set. I really want to be holding the camera in my hand, or I want to be in an office helping people with scripts. Typically you can see yourself in a setting where you really want to work. And how do you feel? Are you nervous? Are you stressed in a good way? I kind of like to have that bit of pressure on myself at all times. And then who are your 3 role models in the industry and why? This is very, very important. We'll get to this in a second, but here's some answers that are coming in. I love it. Derek, you're the best. Establish a stronger Yale network in Hollywood. You are well on your way to doing that. Absolutely. Sky, I want to share more unknown true stories with the world to inspire and educate people. Fantastic. Ashley, to help more minority women become directors, producers, and writers and take control of telling their own often ignored stories. Love that so much. Jesse says, create a division of a production company studio that explicitly looks at scripts of unknown or rising writers and creatives who otherwise would not get a platform. Jesse, I love that. See, look at you guys. I want you guys to read your incredible sentences here about what you want to do. This is inspiring, and this is what we need more of in Hollywood. Now let's talk about your role models, you guys. I want you to really think about this tonight and even beyond tonight. Now, who are your top 3 role models in the entertainment industry and why? Mine are, for example, Jimmy Fallon, Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, because they're talk show hosts and they spread positive energy and great information to the world. And so like I have Google alerts for these people. One time I had Oprah Winfrey as as inspiration on the lock screen on my phone. And what I want you guys to do, your role models are people you can learn from. You need to make a Google alert for your role models. Click the link so you can make a Google alert for your role models, which means you guys can actually type into a Google alert every single time these people are mentioned in the news. You'll get aggregated posts about them, and you'll be able to read about them. You should also make their faces the lock screen on your phone as inspiration to you guys. And you can buy and read every book about them. This is really important because it can show you guys that oftentimes your biggest dreams accomplished by these incredible people are within you can actually make this happen. And sometimes getting the result you desire is not as difficult as you think. So basically, I want you guys to do this. Discover how they achieve their success, and it's likely simpler than you think, and get inspired. Hold on, you guys, 1 second. Awesome. Sorry, someone just came into the room. All right, so get inspired by their stories. Understand that these people were just like you at one point. They were young, they were hungry, they were excited about their career, and they took chances and they took risks. So take the time, make a Google alert for your role models, read every book you can, read every single article you can, and discover how your role models achieve their success. And then remember to say your goals out loud. This is really important. Sometimes I find that people in the industry, or people who want to be in the industry, they're a little shy. They're not quite sure if their goals are realistic. But I want you guys, look at all these incredibly inspiring things you're writing over here. When people ask you, what do you want to do with your life? Or your parents ask you, like, what's next for you? I want Marina to confidently say, I want to write and create accessible media, racial, ethnic, disability representation on screen, on and off screen, specifically geared towards children's audience. That's inspiring. So instead of saying, oh, I don't really know what I want to do when I graduate, start being confident in yourself and start confidently saying these goals out loud. It's very inspiring. And it's been scientifically proven that if you say your goals out loud, they're more likely to come true. And I can say this from experience. It really, really works. It's powerful. Next, 5 hard truths about entry-level Hollywood, you guys. This is the tough part of the presentation where I have to be really real with you about the things I wish I had known before I entered the industry. And it's not an easy industry, you guys. So let's get down to it. Hard truth number 1. This industry is not for the faint of heart, and your first jobs in this industry will likely be the hardest jobs you've ever had or will ever have in your life. Here's what a typical day looks like. And yes, I use this woman with the crazy phone and the crazy Post-its everywhere. That was me. And that's what a typical Hollywood assistant looks like. I hope this makes you guys laugh, but basically, if you guys have seen Entourage or if you guys have seen Devil Wears Prada, those characters are based on actual people who exist in the entertainment industry in real life. You might have thought to yourself, oh, isn't this funny that they're yelling at their assistant? People aren't like that in real life. Yes, they are. These are based on real people. So I want you guys to understand, I used to be a Lloyd, basically. I was a talent agency assistant. So I want you guys to understand that you're likely going to have very difficult bosses in this industry and you need to be prepared. Here's what a typical day looks like as a Hollywood assistant, okay? You get in super early in the morning, you're checking voicemail, you're updating the phone sheet, you're rolling calls with your boss. Your boss arrives, he's typically like very full of energy, you're rolling calls. Essentially, you're a bona fide phone operator as a Hollywood assistant. You're rolling calls with your boss, hundreds of calls per day. And this is tough for our generation because we're so used to text messaging that getting used to the phones in Hollywood, because Hollywood runs on the phones, is very difficult at first. It was really tough for me to get, but once you get good at the phones, it's really empowering. You're sending hundreds of emails a day, you're logging checks. I had to process millions of dollars worth of funds from all of the people that were clients of my boss. I was processing payments for them and sending out their payments too, like these top level directors. And so it's typically like a 12-hour plus workday. It's really intense. You guys got to be ready for it. So what does this mean for you? I want you guys to write on these questions a little bit here. How much real world experience have you actually had? Have you ever had a service industry job like retail or waitress or food industry, bartender or hostess? Sometimes people think that putting kind of service industry stuff on your resume is a bad thing. But in Hollywood, you actually want to keep it on there. You put it in a separate section at the bottom that says customer service experience or additional experience. And I'll tell you a brief story about this. When I was at ICM, one of the heads of the company, he yelled out to our whole department. He said, the reason I hired my assistant was because she had worked for the top and busiest. She was the hostess for the busiest restaurant in Chicago. And he knew that she would be able to handle his desk because she knew how to handle many customer service inquiries at once. She knew how to maintain her poise in stressful situations. And he knew that she was going to do a great job because of her service industry experience. So if you guys don't have service industry experience yet and you need to save money for graduation and for potentially moving to LA or New York, start now. There are tons of amazing stores near Yale. Gosh, I remember when I actually went to Hopkins up the hill from Yale. And I remember going down to Urban Outfitters in high school. And I'm sure a lot of you have campus jobs, but it's a very, very important thing to get customer service experience. And if you guys have had experience, whether in a work, an office environment or in the service industry, what was your most stressful experience and how did you handle it? So I'd like you guys to think about this for a second and write down some ideas. Awesome. Let's keep going. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how tough are you guys? When I moved out to LA, I thought I was a 7, but I was really more like a 4 or a 5. And, along with that, do you guys ever play sports? Some of you might be athletes out there. And are you competitive with yourself? And then, sadly, I have to ask this question. Have you ever been yelled at in a professional setting and how did you react? This is a part of growing up, understanding that the real world isn't butterflies and rainbows. You will get yelled at a certain point. But if you've already had experience getting yelled at and you faced the monster and you've survived, it's good, and if you play sports, if you have a tough coach, that's also a good thing. But I'm asking these questions to prepare you for the potential tough bosses that you're going to have. So reflect on these questions for a moment here as well. Awesome. Let's keep a move on. And then, these are questions I have to ask. Are you a lazy person or a proactive person? Some of you out there, I've been classmates with people like this, people who are these geniuses that never do the reading but still get straight A's. Unfortunately, this isn't going to fly in Hollywood. If you're a life hacker type, it's not going to really fly. In Hollywood, you have to be firing on all 4 cylinders at all times. And are you ready to work long hours and put in your dues? Are you really, really ready for this challenge? All right, so hard truth number 2. I highly encourage you guys to move to Los Angeles after graduation, because that really is going to give you the best opportunities in the industry, especially if you want to work in TV and film. But, like I said in the beginning, I'm biased towards LA, but we are also going to discuss New York opportunities as well. Some of you might not be able to move to LA for whatever reason, and I understand some of you might have already had internships in New York. So we're going to talk about both cities tonight. But I do want you to think of it this way. If you want to work in technology, you move to Silicon Valley. If you want to work in entertainment, you move to Hollywood. To give yourself the best chance of success and to work for the best companies, you should aim to work in the heart center of the industry, which is LA. Again, we will talk about New York because I want to show you guys kind of the gamut of opportunities, but I am biased towards LA. I do help people strategize about moving to LA as well. And additionally, because the Hollywood hiring process is typically so fast, you guys, many employers at top companies won't even consider you unless you are on the ground living in Los Angeles, or for that matter, in New York. I just want you to know that the hiring process is very fast in Hollywood. And let's talk real talk for a second about next steps. If you are someone who is interested in moving to LA after graduation, or even to New York, you must start saving your money. This is something that didn't really occur to me, I don't know why, my senior year. Or speak with your parents ASAP about a game plan. Don't be afraid, but I typically recommend saving between $5,000 to $10,000 between now and graduation. This might sound like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I have worked with college students just like you guys who have had 2 or 3 campus jobs for years because they knew that they needed money to be able to move to their ideal city after they graduated. And that's inspiring to me. There are many adults that don't know how to save their money and don't know how to put it aside. And these students diligently did that when they came to me for advice. And I was so impressed. So if they can do it, you can do it. And if you can't do it, you need to start talking to your parents about next steps and if they can help you. And I do just want to say that LA is the bomb. I want to expand your mind. If you're someone who, like me, I was born in Connecticut, I was raised in Connecticut, and I never in a million years thought I would go to the West Coast. I never in a million years thought I would work in Hollywood or be in LA. I always thought it was kind of this Wizard of Oz thing that nobody did. I always thought I'd end up in New York. But I want to expand your mind and say that I lived in LA for 4 years. I'm now based in New York, and I go between the coasts. I lived in LA full-time for 4 years. It is the bomb. It's so much fun. And I just want to kind of expand your mind about LA as an amazing place to live. And now let's kind of do a little comparison here. Derek and I really wanted to include this in this year's training because it's important you guys understand the details about both cities. So in Los Angeles, it really is the heart center of the entertainment industry. And most of the industry power players, like the top people that make all the decisions in Hollywood, live in LA full time, and then they'll go back and forth between LA and New York if needed. So I really want you guys to be working for the top people in the industry, the top agents, the top producers, the top directors, the top executives, and they live in Los Angeles. And that's going to be really important for you to work for those types of people. Talent agencies, which we're going to talk about more in a little bit, are larger and more powerful in LA. This is where the headquarters are. Basically, the headquarters for most big entertainment companies are in LA. What's really interesting is that if you go to a New York City office of a big entertainment company, the phones won't start ringing in New York until 11 a.m. when the Los Angeles offices are opening up at 8 in the morning. It's so interesting to see. I saw that at ICM. Their New York office didn't even get busy until 11 a.m. because that's when LA was waking up. Fascinating. TV and film production opportunities everywhere. Probably your best chance to work with TV showrunners going to be in Los Angeles. The showrunners are in LA, the directors are in LA, the producers are in LA. You also have a thriving community of Hollywood assistants, thousands and thousands of young people, a lot of whom are East Coast transplants, are living and working in LA, and there are great networking opportunities there. And the culture of the city is entertainment through and through. Everywhere you look, billboards for TV shows and movie nights and incredible opportunities all over the place. Everyone is somehow touched by the entertainment industry in LA, and everyone's really excited about it. Now, New York City. And in New York, typically in the New York City scene, there's really an emphasis on late night talk shows. As you guys probably know, most of the big late night talk shows are in New York. Colbert, Fallon, Seth Meyers, to name only a few. Variety shows like obviously SNL is the big granddaddy here. Typically, more of an emphasis on comedy. Theater, obviously, because of Broadway. A lot of theater agents in New York City, and broadcast journalism. If you want to be someone who works in the news, New York City is definitely the place to be. Top TV shows like Law & Order SVU. There are a lot of primetime TV shows that are filmed in New York. SVU's been in New York forever, obviously. SNL, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, all shot here in New York. And then the Page program of NBC is a very famous program that's also based in the city. Obviously, you have Tribeca Film Festival, and the culture of independent filmmaking is very much alive in New York City. And the city does a lot to really promote filmmaking. They have a film initiative here, a film commission. The talent agencies here are smaller, and we'll get to why that's important in a little bit. Entertainment is an important part of the city's fabric, but not the heartblood of the city necessarily. In LA, you really feel like it's like the beating heart of the city everywhere you go. So I wanted to give you guys that comparison here so you could see what the opportunities are like and kind of the pros and cons here. All right, so hard truth number 3, you guys, we're going to keep trucking through. The induction process for entry-level Hollywood careers is on par with Wall Street, everybody. So in terms of hours, intensity, and workload. The major difference, however, is that on Wall Street, the pay is super high, but in Hollywood, the pay is really low. So there's so much competition for jobs in the entertainment industry that typically companies only pay. You might only be able to expect $10 to $12 an hour in your first jobs in the industry. So cutting to the chase, your salary for the first 3 to 5 years in the industry could potentially be $30,000 a year or less, which is very difficult to live on. Again, I'm trying to give you guys all the tough love now. These are all the things I wish I had known before I moved out to LA. And hard truth number 4, because of the harsh financial realities of entry-level Hollywood positions, most young people that come out to Los Angeles to work are typically from families that can help support, monetarily in a way, their children for their first year or so in the industry. That's the man is waving his hand. That's his parents in the background in the photograph. But even with help from your parents, you guys, if you don't create a budget and stick to it, you may fall into tough times financially. This happens to a lot of Hollywood assistants. And LA is definitely a cheaper place to live than New York, but it's also very exciting and full of temptations for your wallet if you're not careful. New York is definitely a more expensive place to live than LA, but both cities are super expensive in general. So what does this mean for you guys? Let's pause here for a second. Have you spoken with your parents about the financial reality of entry-level Hollywood positions and the possibility of them potentially helping support you in your move and moving out there? And will you need to get a side job? Have you created a realistic budget for yourself, and are you saving money? Right? These are tough questions, but I've got to ask them because I want you to be successful in your job hunt. All right, hard truth number 5, you guys, we're almost done with hard truths. The entertainment industry is like the world's most exclusive club, and jobs are really hard to land. That's why this bouncer is here. You are unlikely to get a job in the industry unless you have alumni or family connections. Again, I'm going to repeat that because it's so important. You are unlikely going to get a job in the entertainment industry unless you have alumni or family connections. This isn't going to be a super easy process where you see a job application online and you submit your resume and cover letter and you get in. You need to know someone on the inside who can recommend you to recruiters and who can help you get in the door. All right, you guys, so we've gone through the hard truths. You made it. So what's next? What's the best way to get your foot in the door in Hollywood, even if you want to be on the creative side, even if you want to be a director, a producer, a writer? Let's talk about it. Your number one goal should be to land a mailroom position at a top talent agency in Hollywood. So that's CAA, WME, UTA, or ICM, or a position at a top management company such as 3 Arts, Management 360, Principato Young, etc. And a lot of you might be asking yourselves, wait, what? Why? I don't want to be a talent agent. I don't understand. Like, what does this mean? Fact number one, everybody, talent agencies are the power centers of Hollywood, okay? I made this graphic so that you guys could see. Hollywood's like a big bicycle wheel, and the networks, studios, and production companies are on the outside of that wheel. And the agencies and the management companies are really the power centers on the inside because they control all the talent. Agencies and management companies control all the producers, writers, directors, and actors that we know and love, that create the content we know and love. And the production companies, studios, and the networks can't do anything without the talent that the agencies protect. So the spokes of the bicycle wheel are all kind of the lines of communication between the agencies and the studios and the networks. It all goes through the agencies. And then fact number two, getting your foot in the door in Hollywood via the mailroom at a talent agency has been the tradition in this industry for over 50 years. And yes, I'm talking about pushing a mail cart in the mailroom. I did it myself. It is considered the silver standard process by which new people are initiated into the industry, trained to be top Hollywood assistants in the tough agency environment, and effectively groomed for the next steps in their careers. Most jobs in Hollywood you'll see, and if you're a senior and you're already looking at jobs post-graduation, you'll see that most jobs in Hollywood actually require 1 to 2 years of agency experience. People know that this is like the Harvard Business School of Hollywood to get into an agency through the mailroom. And then fact number three, it is understood by everyone in the industry, including agents, that 80% of college students and recent grads who want to start in the mailroom of an agency actually don't want to be agents at all, you guys. So you can heave a huge sigh of relief. You don't actually have to be a talent agent for 10 years, don't worry. Most people that enter the door, they don't want to be agents at all. These candidates understand that they're going to the agency really to be trained, that kind of graduate school experience, and that after 1 to 2 years, if you do a good job and you build your network working at this place, at an agency, you will have access to the best opportunities thereafter. Because of your agency pedigree, you'll have a much easier time than most landing the most coveted jobs in the industry. And you'll be able to potentially work for top producers, writers, directors, and studio heads, etc. Because guess what? If you're working at an agency that represents Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg needs a new assistant, who is he going to reach out to? He's going to reach out to his agency, and he's going to ask, who are your great assistants? And he'll hire an agency assistant because agency assistants have the reputation of being the best in the industry. Oh, and here's just like a short FAQ about the agency hiring process. So, if you are lucky enough to get an interview at a talent agency, you will likely be asked, do you want to be an agent? And you're encouraged to say confidently, yes, I do want to be an agent, because the agencies are really cracking down and they really want to bring in more people who are serious about being an agent. Even if you want to be a writer, a producer, a director, this is a very important opportunity. You should really want to learn everything there is to learn about the agency culture and about what agents do. So I encourage you to say, yes, I want to be an agent, and that will help you get in the door. And you should want to learn about all of this. But over the course of time, yes, if you still are very interested in the creative side, you will, of course, continue in that direction. All right, you guys ready to talk about resume success principles? Let me know in the chat box. Give me some love. And then I'm just going to take a quick sip of water, and then we'll get started. All right, let's get started with resume success principles. First and foremost, awesome. Jasmine's ready, Henry's ready, Marina's ready. Fantastic. All right, resume success principle number one. Your resume must be 1 page, and I repeat, 1 page. Any resumes over a page won't be taken seriously. When I'm recruiting for positions or I'm helping people out, I won't take anybody seriously if it's over a page. So make sure you guys heed this advice. Then quantify, quantify, quantify. You need to show that you've made a measurable impact to the places where you've worked. So I see a lot of really boring resumes, you guys, assisted so-and-so with research projects, or answered phones for a busy executive. I want you guys to really think about the projects you've done that you were proud of at the places where you've worked. Maybe you organized an event where a lot of people attended. So, helped organize an event where 1,000 people attended and raised $10,000 for cancer research. That is so much more exciting and interesting than organized event. So quantify your results. I want to see lots of numbers. dollar signs and percentages on your resume. Now, no crazy fonts or colors, it goes without saying, and no crazy photos either. Your resume should be black and white and Times New Roman font. Sometimes people make their Hollywood resumes like these kind of like colorful graphic design patterns. You guys don't need to do that. Hollywood's actually a lot more corporate than you'd think. Black and white, Times New Roman. And then you should include your LinkedIn profile link at the top of your resume. And you make sure that you have a custom LinkedIn URL link. So like mine right now is linkedin.com/Kate Lupo. And yours should have the same thing. So like for Allison Chen on here, hi Allison, it should be linkedin.com/Allison Chen. And it's pretty easy to do that. You just need to Google, how to make a custom LinkedIn URL. You guys have to make sure you have a stellar photo. I'm going to show you a little workbook in our next slide to show you guys what a good photo looks like. The recruiter is probably going to be stalking you on social media anyway. This is why I emphasize this so much. So you might as well head them off at the pass, because I'm going to tell you that, and this is kind of a hard truth as well, your appearance matters in Hollywood. You don't have to be a supermodel by any means, but you do have to be very professional looking. So a good LinkedIn photo, these are all great LinkedIn photos, you guys. So take a look. Outdoor lighting is best. Greenery in the background is great. Women, a nice blouse that covers your shoulders, neutral or cool tones. Try not to wear like reds or oranges. Blazers are fantastic for women in Hollywood. Big smile, minimal makeup or jewelry, and then no non-standard piercings, dyed hair, or tattoos for that matter. Please, please, please. Hollywood's a pretty corporate place. They will really judge you if you have kind of like any non-standard appearance-wise stuff, unfortunately. And then men, dress shirt and jacket are very important. No non-standard piercings, dyed hair, or tattoos. Okay, so take a look at these photos. Again, I'm going to be sending you guys the replay. I'll also I'll arrange to have the PowerPoint of this presentation also sent to you, Derek, and you can send it out to the group as well. But it's very, very important you guys have a great photograph so that if you are applying for jobs, you can include your LinkedIn profile at the top of your resume, and then the recruiter can see what you look like and be like, wow, this person looks really professional, really friendly, and really great. All right, resume success principle number 5. It goes without saying, you guys, but I need to say it. No typos, okay? Even the teeniest typo can cost you the job. So get into the practice of reading your resume out loud, and all of your official documents for that matter, out loud for errors, and it really, really works. And also in Hollywood, typically, there's really no room for error. And if you make one mistake, just one mistake, someone can really hold that against you. So I want you guys to get really, really focused on the details. Resume success principle number 6. I see way too many boring resumes, you guys. So I want you to really use exciting action verbs that show your leadership skills. Things like spearheaded, created, directed, initiated, collaborated, coordinated. Too many resumes are really boring and just say things like, did research project here or helped person there. Use action words that really show your leadership skills. All right, you guys, so Hollywood assistant skills, these are really important because I want you guys to understand the types of skills you're going to need to survive and then thrive in the fast-paced culture of the industry. First of all, we already kind of mentioned this before, but phone skills are super important. And this is tough for our generation because we're also used to using text messaging. But if you guys have an opportunity to potentially go work either in the career services office or in the advancement office or in the admissions office, answering phone calls and being a kind of a phone operator for these parts of campus, that would be so great for your experience. You could add that to your resume. And if you can learn how to speak with people confidently and in a very friendly manner on the phone, that's going to really help you a lot, especially if you can learn how to transfer calls in between offices and answer a lot of calls at once and keep your poise. That's going to be a great experience for you. Then customer service skills goes hand in hand. If you have a service industry job, or if you are somebody that can go work on campus at the advancement office or the admissions office or whatnot, and you can handle a job where a lot of people are coming at you at once, that's going to give you great training for Hollywood, when you can give people that great service and you can also do it with a smile. Then event planning skills. If you guys are on clubs and committees, if you're doing like large scale events for your clubs or organizations, that's so good and so good for your resume, okay? It shows me as a recruiter that you, number one, know how to see kind of the macro details of a situation. You can kind of zoom out, and then you can see the micro details and all the steps you need to make something a reality. So Make sure you highlight that on your resume, okay? And then fundraising skills and or money management skills. As I mentioned before, especially if you're lucky enough to go work at a talent agency, you're going to be tracking a lot of money. I tracked millions of dollars as a 23-year-old. You know, that's crazy. So if you have fun, and that was very intimidating at first, I have to say. So if you have fundraising skills and or money management skills, please have that on your resume, or try to really brush up on your Excel work or QuickBooks or whatnot. That's going to be good for you. And then public speaking skills, you know, public speaking is something I've always enjoyed. But if you guys are serious about working in Hollywood, you have to understand that confidence is key. It's an industry all about confidence. And if you don't have confidence, especially in communication, you're going to get swallowed up. So if you are somebody that is on the shyer side, start taking improv classes, start taking public speaking classes, like speak up more in class, do whatever you can to encourage yourself to be a more confident person. Easier said than done, I know, but you can start now. And it's always going to be a good thing for you to have great communication skills. All right, you guys, are you ready to talk about interview success principles? This is my absolute favorite thing to teach. So let's get started. All right, so interview prep. Let's talk about just do some like preliminary setup work here. So make sure you're wearing appropriate dress code. This is very, very important. I have a terrible story to tell that I was once helping someone who I thought was a very good candidate, came across super well on the phone. But then when he went to the job interview, I just assumed that he knew what to wear. And this is in the very beginning of my career coaching, mind you. The recruiter said, wow, he was a great candidate, but he showed up to our office in a t-shirt and jeans. I was mortified that I hadn't gone over this with him. So basically, here we go. In Hollywood, especially if you're starting on the corporate side, which is what you typically need to do to get to the creative side, you need to be thinking like Ann Taylor, J. Crew. Okay, like it's kind of, you know, that preppy corporate office attire is very important in this setting. Men, think J. Crew and Brooks Brothers. As a tip, you can Google kind of top 35 under 35 Hollywood leaders lists for clothing inspiration. And don't arrive more than 15 minutes early for your Hollywood interviews. It shows that you're desperate, okay? And you want to have a nice, strong handshake. Unfortunately, if I were there in person, I did this last year, I would go around to each and every one of you and shake your hand to make sure you have a good handshake. But just know, like, you have to have a nice, firm handshake. And if you make your interviewer smile, smirk, or laugh, you're likely going to get the job. This is like one of the most clear and interesting indicators that I've seen that indicates that you are probably somebody that's going to be high on this person's list. It should be more of a conversation. I used to think that interviews were these like robotic experiences and we had to talk like this to each other. Absolutely not. An interview is an opportunity for you to really show a recruiter your personality, show them how much you want to contribute to the company, and really be the answer to their problem. And if you can also make them laugh or smile, and you give them a good feeling in their body about you, that's very powerful, okay? So if in person, if it's longer than 30 minutes, it's likely going to be a very good sign that you're going to get the job. Or if it's on the phone, if your interview's on the phone, if it's longer than 20 minutes, that's also a very good sign. All right, so here, I want to ask you guys a question and put in the chat box. What do you guys think about interviews? Like, do you get nervous during interviews? Are you confident in interviews? Tell me how you feel about interviews real quick. And I just want to see the trends on here before I talk about interview mentality. All right, so Sky says she's nervous. Clara says she gets nervous. Olivia, I feel I can represent myself better in person on paper. Got it. Okay. So this is really interesting. So most people on the planet, I'm sure you guys know, I don't know if you've heard the statistic, but most people would rather die than public speak, which is crazy. And that kind of bleeds into interview stuff. a lot of people get nervous in interviews, and it's typically because you guys are thinking, you're thinking that the interviewer is like hoping you're going to mess up or that you're going to mess up in some way. You're focused on the messing up part. But I'm here to kind of shift your mentality, and this is going to be the cure for any and all nerves that you have from now on. I need to give you some background too. Typically, a recruiter is going to be typically a woman at an entertainment company who's very stressed out, who has a couple executives breathing down her neck, and they're asking her, "Where's my new assistant?" And she's really stressed out. And when she is going to meet with you, guess what? She's not hoping you're going to mess up, you guys. She's hoping that you're the solution to her problem. She wants you to be the solution. She has a lot of people breathing down her neck. She wants you to be great. She doesn't want you to mess up. She wants you to be great. So for interview mentality, you guys, if you walk through the door with this in your mind, all of your nervousness will go away. You say to yourself, I am the answer to the recruiter's problem, and I can't wait to contribute to this company. I'm going to say it again because it's just so powerful. Anna Jennings, I'm the answer to the recruiter's problem. I can't wait to contribute to this company. You shifted away from your ego to a generosity mindset, where number one, you need to believe in yourself and know and deep in your bones, you are the answer to their problem, and you know that you can do a great job for them. Think of all the times you've been a great employee before. You're going to do it again. And that you can't wait to contribute. Like, you want to be a part of this company and you want to be a great team member. If you think of this, nerves will be gone. You see my little emoji down here? Very, very powerful stuff. So keep this with you as you continue your job hunt. It's going to be very helpful to you. And here's some very important interview questions to prepare for everybody. First and foremost, most recruiters are going to ask you kind of like, what is a past stressful / emergency situation you've been in a professional setting or even in a service industry setting, and how did you handle it? We ask this question because we want to weed out people who might be too green, who have never had experience working for a difficult boss. But if you have had experience working in tough environments, play it up. Tell us about the time that you were organizing a really high-level meeting and the printer broke and all the materials were gone. Like, that's the stuff that they want to hear about. And you had to figure out a way in a calm, cool, and collected way to bring everything together. We want to hear about that because that's how stressful and intense it's going to be in Hollywood. So if you can prove to us that you have experience in tough situations, it's more likely you're going to get hired. Then, what industry news has interested you recently and why? You guys should all be reading the entertainment trades, and we'll talk more about this at the end. Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, IndieWire, Variety Magazine. Hollywood is a business. We got to remind ourselves of that. It's really fun, it's really exciting, but it's a business. So we want to make sure that you are reading the trades and that you're informed about what's going on. And so if we ask you, like, what entertainment news has interested you recently and why, we're not just looking for like, oh, I once had someone say this to me, oh, the review of Batman versus Superman was really bad. And I'm like, no, we're looking for answers such as, I read about upcoming trends in virtual reality and how that's going to revolutionize the industry. And if you can provide specific examples about how what you read about in that article, that's going to be fantastic. And then what are your strengths? And then what are your weaknesses? In terms of strengths, a lot of people give very boring answers to this question, like, oh, I'm very organized. Well, if you're very organized, get more specific than that. Are you great with technology? Do you use databases to organize your thoughts? Tell us more about what makes you special. And then for your weaknesses, I'm always looking for unique answers here. It's got to be something that you were bad at in the past that caused a mistake. So think about something that you got yelled at for in the past, for example, that you got better at over time, and then you mastered. So a lot of people talk about confidence here. Maybe they were really bad on the phones in the beginning, and then they got much better over time because they took the initiative to get better. And then thank you note advice. You've got to write a thank you note. Your interview is not done until you have sent a thank you note to the future employer. Via email only. It used to be that handwritten notes were cool. Sometimes you can still do this. If you want to do email and handwritten note, that can work. But there's a lot of room for error with a handwritten note. It might not get there in time. And the process happens so quickly that email is typically best. Your thank you note should be sent the following day at 9:30 a.m. except for Fridays, in which case you should send that afternoon. 9:30 in the morning, because that's when executives have had their coffee and they're ready to go and they're checking emails. And then how to network your way into Hollywood, you guys. You guys ready to hear about networking? Let me know in the chat box. All right, so remember, for entry-level peeps, your number one goal should be to land a mailroom position at a top talent agency in Hollywood. Remember, this is like a CAA, a WME, and a UTA or an ICM. If you can't get a job at a talent agency right away, I just kind of giving you the guys the full scope of this. You should probably give yourself like 3 to 6 months to achieve this through networking after you graduate. If you don't get into an agency, then you should consider smaller boutique talent agencies, management companies or production companies. But remember, in any of these cases, you will still likely need a connection to even be considered. And then another thing I want you guys to be aware of is that there are something called staffing agencies, places like 11th Hour, Career Group, or the Friedman Agency. These are places that help place candidates at companies. That's no cost to you, but they help provide a link between candidates and opportunities as well. So when you guys are networking, I want you to remember this important phrase. If you ask for a job, they'll just give you some advice. But if you ask for advice, they'll give you a job. And it's so important that I'm going to repeat that. If you ask for a job, they'll just give you advice. But if you ask for advice, they'll give you a job. So I'm saying all this because as you start your networking, it's so important that you don't just go out and say to somebody, oh, can you help me get a job? You've got to really start by creating a relationship with people, showing them that you're super smart, and then giving them the opportunity to recommend you places and really endear yourself to somebody. That's the way you're going to help, that people are going to want to help you. And then you can start sowing the seeds of your networking now while you're still in school and you have the luxury of time. The seeds will only germinate, however, if and when you physically move to Los Angeles or New York. Okay, so the number one most effective networking plan, this might sound obvious to you, but I've got to say it, family and friends. These are people that actually care about you. I call these heart connections. So typically when you're networking, you might only get like a 10 to 20% response rate because most people are super busy and they don't care. But family and friends care about you. So my question to you is, have you spoken to your parents? Have you spoken to your brothers and sisters? Have you spoken to people in your sorority? You need to talk to people who care about you and ask them, do they know anybody that works at the talent agencies, that works in Hollywood, and can they start helping connect you? I got connected to Hollywood when I got my first job at ICM through a connection through my mother. Okay? It's very, very powerful stuff. And then alumni connections, of course. You've got Derek and his wonderful team at the Career Center who's going to help you with this. But really, when you're connecting with alumni, amp up the alumni spirit, go Bulldogs, like say things that will inspire as you connect with these alumni. And Derek and his team can help you as well. And I can help you if you're curious about kind of next steps in my private programs too. There's a certain way to reach out to alumni, and if you kind of do that raw alumni spirit, people really love that, and they want to see their alma mater doing well in Hollywood in particular. So let me show you guys a really interesting tool that I want to make sure you know how to use. Let's pop over to LinkedIn. And perhaps you guys already know how to do this, but for those of you who don't, it's just so important, I've got to go over it with you. So type in your alma mater. So let's type in Yale. And the upper left-hand corner here, so in the search bar. And then when you get to Yale's page, you're going to click on the See Alumni button. And it takes you to this kind of crazy graph here. This is super cool. Go over to Greater Los Angeles area. Wow, 4,212 alumni. Click on that. Awesome, and let's see where they work. What's interesting here is they're not showing people I know that work at the media and communication. Let's see. Awesome. Do you guys see all these amazing people that work in LA? Hulu, Disney, Fox, NBC. Let's see even more. I mean, if I even look up, if we're looking for people that work at the agencies, and I look up Middlebury College, my alma mater, show you something fun. Again, you see this graph, you go to Greater Los Angeles area, click here. And then check it out. If you're trying to get into a CAA, a WME, a UTA, or an ICM, look, 3 people at CAA. creative artist agency. And these happen to be all people that I've helped train. But what I'm trying to tell you is this tool can be revolutionary for you in your job hunt as you're looking to reach out to people who can help you get hired. And in particular, if you're trying to get into the agencies, which is what I encourage you all to do. Okay? So alumni connections are very strong. And, Derek is working very diligently to help you guys have stronger alumni connections in Hollywood. There are certain schools that have really great alumni networks, like obviously USC and UCLA, but also like Northwestern and Syracuse all have great, it's very inspiring to see schools that are really coming together. So I want you guys, if and when you do get hired in the industry, be a great alum, give back to Yale and start and hire people from Yale and encourage a community out in LA. Number 3 most effective networking plans, social media. Make sure you aren't missing out on any kind of secret alumni job boards or Facebook groups, and make sure you speak to Derek and his team. Make sure you're on their correct kind of job board websites. Make sure you're not missing out on any opportunities, okay? And you might also want to post on social media, just a personal post about how you're looking to potentially work in the industry after graduation, and if anybody has any connections they'd be willing to introduce you to. You never know who might know somebody. All right, you guys, we're almost at the home stretch here. This is one of the final parts where I'm going to talk about the things you guys should be reading in between now and graduation to keep your mind sharp. Information is power. So everyone, make sure you write this down. This is required reading for you guys. If you haven't already, you must read this book. And Derek, I bet you might already have this in your library at the Career Center. But The Mailroom by David Renson is an absolute required reading for your entry-level Hollywood experience. It really documents the history of the mailroom, how people come into the industry through the agencies, work their way up from literally pushing a mail cart in the mailroom like I did, to an agency assistant, and then graduate from the agency to become the assistant to producers and kind of top Hollywood executives. It really documents a lot of incredible people in the industry who started off really in the bottom of the bottom, started from the bottom, now we're here. You guys know the Drake song. So it's very, very important required reading for you to understand this process a little bit more. And then, of course, my ebook, which is called How to Break into the Entertainment Industry Before You Graduate. It's great reading for both college students and recent grads alike, if there are any recent grads out there as well. This is for free on my website. You guys can just go on my website, sign up, and it'll be delivered to you. It's very brief. It's only 35 pages. It goes by very quickly, but it gives you a great kind of timeline on how to prepare before graduation and develop those skills you need. And then I mentioned this before, but you guys got to sign up for newsletters. So Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, IndieWire, these are the top, they're called trades, the top entertainment industry trades. So really sign up for up-to-the-minute alerts for these newsletters and start getting into the habit of reading the headlines every day, reading what's going on in the industry. I get hundreds of updates a day. Do I read every single article in its total completeness? No. But do I read the headlines? Yes. So I want you guys to make sure you're being informed. And then here are the best job hunt websites when you guys are ready to really hit the ground running. The UTA job list is really the #1 insider job list page, and it's posted on the blog of a person called the Anonymous Production Assistant. I'm not kidding. This is like how insider all of this is. This person is an entry-level Hollywood hero. He's a friend of mine. I collaborate with him a lot. This list is updated about once every week or so. So you guys should check out the Anonymous Production Assistant and make sure you're not missing out on opportunities that are posted there. Entertainmentcareers.net is a great resource. I'm very good friends with their CEO. My clients say it's worth the fee to upgrade your membership because you get access to more positions, FYI. And then the Hollywood Job Ops newsletter is run by my friends Tyler and Luke, and it's another newsletter where they're posting like insider job listings. You can join their Facebook group, and also you can email them at hollywoodjobops@gmail.com to get subscribed. And then Hollywood Tracking Board is a more pricey option, but I have had clients that have gotten hired because of this site, so I always like to promote it. LinkedIn Entertainment Jobs Board has also helped my clients get hired, so make sure you check that out. And then this is super important. You should join JHRTS immediately, and I should have put a note here, after you graduate. Depending on which city you go to, they have one in New York and they have one in LA. It's short for Junior Hollywood Radio Television Society, and this is the #1 entry-level networking organization for people just like you. And networking should be and will be your number one task right now. So if you join as soon as you graduate, they're probably not going to let you in as a student. It's only $60 for the year, and you can get access to some of the industry's most incredible, events. Like a typical event in LA, they would have an incredible panel of executives from HBO and Fox and all across the industry. And you'll go to these events and you'll be able to hobnob with other assistants and with executives. And it's just a wonderful way to get to expand your network, okay? And if you mention my name, Kate Lupo, in your application, you'll get special preference. All right, you guys, we've reached the end of my training here, and we're going to get to questions shortly. But I do want to talk about next steps with you. So in conjunction with the amazing materials that the Yale Career Center is providing you guys, if you would like to learn more, obviously you've heard my style tonight. We've talked about kind of the core elements of my teaching. I've given you some great free materials. But if you would like to learn more about how I help college students and recent grads land jobs at top companies in Hollywood, I have a private program that I teach. And I'd love to chat with you about it. If you're somebody that really would love to kind of accelerate your job hunt and work with a one-on-one mentor in that way, again, all in conjunction with what Derek and his wonderful team are doing. I've helped Yale students before. You guys are some of the brightest, most incredible people ever. So it's really a privilege not only just to give this training tonight, but to speak with you all. And if you're interested, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up a little button in the chat box. Hopefully, do you guys see that in the chat box? What it's going to do, you can book a call with me, a one-on-one call. And because I believe you guys are action takers, you stayed to the end of the session tonight. You've taken the time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you guys are, but you guys are the action takers. And I love helping action takers because you're the ones that are going to get hired, okay? And I do have a private program where I help people one-on-one. It's really, I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but it's really for people who are interested in having that kind of one-on-one mentorship, who potentially have supportive families or parents that are interested in that have helped you potentially in the past with other kind of personal development opportunities. And you're someone who really is very serious about getting hired in Hollywood, and you really just want to know more about this process and learn more about what I do. And if you're somebody that's more kind of just like figuring things out, you're not quite sure what next steps are, might not be the right time. But if you are somebody that's very serious and you're interested in learning more, definitely click the book a call button. You can book a call with me. It's free. We can chat about your goals, and I would love to work with you. I'd love to chat with you about your goals. And these are some examples of my awesome clients that have been hired. Bria was hired at Amazon TV. She was so sweet. She said, literally with only a few weeks of working with Kate, I used my existing network and landed every single job I applied for. I'm not exaggerating. It was amazing. So I seem to have a kind of a magical quality when I help people I really love who come to me with the right attitude and the right experience, the right energy. It just becomes a magical thing. And, James was hired at UTA. And I just have so many great success stories. And quite frankly, I want you guys to be next. I want you guys to be my next success story. Here I am pointing at you. So click the button that I just put up in the chat box. You guys can schedule a call. There's going to be a little kind of form you fill out where you can put in your LinkedIn, your resume, tell me a little bit more about yourself. I'm also going to kind of ask you some questions about if you've ever worked with a coach before, just things that are good for me to know. But yeah, I would love to speak with you guys one-on-one if you're interested in my program. Again, in conjunction with what you're already being taught and the opportunities you're having at Yale. And just a great way to kind of give you that extra boost in your job hunt. All right, you guys, so now it's time for questions. I know some of you are probably filling out the application for a free call with me. But if you guys have questions, now's the time. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to type out your questions. We have 34 people on the training. Woohoo! So I know you guys are probably just typing up some things for me right now. So I'll give you a minute for that. Thank you guys so much for staying until the end. You guys are troopers. I know it's late on a school night, but I had a lot of fun tonight. So I want to make sure I answer all of your questions though before we round things out for the night. Also, if you guys can let me know if you see the button for the free calls, just let me know if that showed up in the chat box. That would make me feel better if I knew that. Thanks. Thanks, Chasen. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, so type out your questions for me. I'll give you another minute or so to do that. All right, Mariah says, if it's not too personal, why did you decide not to become a talent agent? What parts of the entertainment industry do you have the most reservations about? Great question. So yeah, so when I first got into the agency, I wanted to be a producer, and I still have an aspiration to do that. But when I got into the agency, I did very well, and people kept wanting me to stay, and they promoted me, and it's a very enticing culture because in Hollywood, it's very difficult to make a living in the sense that when you're first starting off and in production work, you don't really make very much money. But talent agents make a very good living, and the top talent agents are making millions of dollars a year. So there's a lot of kind of like allure around money and fame at the agencies, and I kind of got caught up in that, I have to say. And so I got, and it was very exciting to be working with such high level people and talent. And so I got caught up in it, and I got promoted perhaps a little bit too quickly, and then kind of realized that the stress, the culture is very stressful. So there are a lot of agencies need agents, and Hollywood in general needs talent agents to run. The industry cannot run without talent agents because talent agents are very important. They're the ones that are protecting the talent. They're making sure their talent, the people they represent, are getting great deals, that they're getting consistently higher salaries every year, that they're not being swindled. They're like the guard dogs of the industry, okay? But it takes a certain type of person to do that job. You have to be very strong. You have to be very, you have to have a lot of conviction, and you have to be, sometimes you got to be a little bit of a bully to be a talent agent. And that's not really in my DNA. So when I realized that more and more, I decided it wasn't going to be the right career path for me. But I want to just reiterate that Hollywood needs the agencies to survive. The agency culture is changing a lot right now. It's a very male-dominated culture. But as you guys can tell by the news, there's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood right now. So I think that we're going to see a lot of kind of cultural changes soon. All right. Olivia, is all of your advice the same for applying for summer internships? In what ways does applying for summer internships differ? Yes, all of this applies for summer internships, and you've got to start now with your networking because internships are super, super competitive too. What I want you to be doing is speaking with Derek in the careers office. If you want to speak with me on one of our free calls, I can help you a little bit more with this too. But really identifying top companies you want to work for and figuring out if you have family or friends in LA that you could potentially stay with over the summer, save some money. But if you have the opportunity to work in LA over the summer and your parents are cool with that and you guys get a sense of LA, fantastic. Or if you can't, go down to New York, also fantastic. Louisa, you talked about LA and New York City, but are there any other cities with good post-grad entertainment options? Nashville seems pretty cool. I don't necessarily want to work at a top agency anyway. Louisa, that's a really funny question. Everybody's talking about Nashville these days, and Austin, Texas. Everyone's talking about Austin, Nashville, Tennessee, obviously. Nashville's really a music industry scene. I'm not sure you're going to get great opportunities for entertainment in terms of TV and film in Nashville, except they were shooting the show Nashville in Nashville. But Austin, Texas is becoming another really interesting place for like the intersection of technology and entertainment. You guys might want to look into that. But in general, I would want you guys to have the access to the best opportunities, and that's going to be in New York or LA. Henry, what's the best way to approach networking emails so that it comes across as friendly and sincere as opposed to aggressive and self-oriented? Well, the best way to approach networking emails is to first thank somebody. Thanking people instantly warms the cockles of their heart. It instantly warms people's hearts to be thanked. So you always want to thank people for their time. If you start off by saying, thank you so much, dear Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Whether it's in an email or in person or on the phone, people love that because everyone's super busy in the real world. And people do this out of the goodness of their heart, okay? You thank people and then you give them a very brief overview of your background, include your resume, and ask if they would be willing to speak with you on the phone about their experience in the industry. If you focus on them and ask for advice and thank them along the way, that's how you're going to endear yourself to people. Saytone, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Would you recommend asking the interviewer questions like, what types of questions should you ask? Great question. Great question. So typically I have people start from macro questions and then go micro. So what I mean by that is I typically have people ask, the first question would be, what does a typical day look like in this position? That's a great first question to ask because it's a real overview question. And then you can get more specific from there, like what projects would I be working on? I also really like having people ask the question about what is the culture here like? I'm somebody that really likes to get involved in the culture of an office. And can you tell me more about any opportunities or volunteer work or any initiatives that go on in the office here? Because that makes you sound like you're somebody that's going to be a very good addition to the office. Like you're going to volunteer for things, like you're going to be a part of their sports team. You know, people love that. People want to hire people that are team players. And then sometimes I like to ask, what do you like most about your job? Some people cringe at that question, but I think it's a very telling thing. If somebody is uncomfortable at answering that question, it typically means that they don't like their job, which is good for you to know as the job applicant. Jesse, is it ever too late to consider with someone from a previous meeting? Oh, is it ever too late to reconnect with someone from a previous meeting or job in order to network, especially if there's been a long span of time since you last corresponded? No, and I actually just helped somebody with this. It's never too late. You reconnect, maybe you apologize for the lapse in communication, but you just say, I'm really excited to reconnect. Could we hop on a call or can I take you to lunch? Never too late to reconnect. Don't worry about that, but you might have to just apologize for letting the connection lapse. Ayotunde. Hi, Kate. Thanks so much for your incredibly helpful, insightful advice. Oh, you're welcome. I was curious about your thoughts on starting an agency and pivoting to another career. I'm curious because sometimes I worry it might be a difficult challenge to switch careers, especially if you're in the process of moving up in an agency. Great question. So let me clarify, you guys. Typically, at a talent agency, you work 1 to 2 years for a talent agent. And then if you do a good job for that agent, typically you're able to find a position either with one of his clients or at another incredible studio network or production company. Everywhere across Hollywood, they're looking for talent agency alumni to come work for them because they know that agency alumni are the best trained because they've been put through the gauntlet of the Hollywood environment. So you just have to be constantly going. It's called going to drinks in Hollywood. You go to drinks every week with a couple of other assistants that you work with. You're going to be on the phone all day long with other assistants for executives that you're connecting calls to for your boss. Go to drinks with them. Every day you should be trying to expand your network because you guys, your success in Hollywood is congruent with the size of your network. So your job is to be expanding your network every single day as a Hollywood assistant. And even now as a college student, every day, how can I connect with more Yale alumni in the industry? How can I ask my parents for more people that we might know? So when you're trying to transition from an agency to a writing or directing career, so your goal should be to, number one, be a fantastic assistant first and foremost. You have to be a great assistant because then your boss will want to recommend you. If you're not a good assistant, it'll all have been for nothing. So you need to be a great Hollywood assistant, like I was. And then you have to figure out, are you working for the right type of agent who represents the type of clients that you would want to work for? Are you in touch with other assistants at the company that are in touch with people who work at the types of companies you would want to work for? Or who work for an agent who represents Shonda Rhimes, a very famous showrunner who created Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, and maybe you could go work for Shonda once she needs a new assistant. That exact thing happened to one of my friends in my department when I was at ICM. She worked for the agent that represented Shonda Rhimes, Ayatunde, and when Shonda needed a new assistant, guess what? She hired Abby, my friend. So that's really how this whole thing works. Yvonne, is there anything different about entertainment on an international level? I can't really speak to that as much, but I know it's funny. I help a lot of international students who are coming into the industry. But I am not sure how things work, for example, in China or in Europe. It's a different kettle of fish. the LA industry experience is very specific, and that's really what I teach on. Wonderful, you guys. So if there are no more questions, I really just want to remind you to take a second to fill out an application for a free call with me, because I'd love to chat with you guys. If you're interested in next steps, want to know more about how I help people, would love to talk with you. And I just want to say, as we wrap up our session tonight, I believe in you. The job hunt is tough. And I know, because I've been there before, and I want you to know that I'm cheering you on, no matter where you are in your job hunt, no matter who you are, how old you are. And I believe in you guys. I believe in every single one of you, especially those of you who stayed into the end. And I want to thank you all so much for being here. And thank you once again to Derek Webster and the Yale Office of Career Strategies, Common Good, and Creative Careers Initiative. You guys, again, are so lucky to have such an active and engaged career services office that really wants to help you with next steps. I'm so proud to be collaborating with them. Thank you so much for having me and letting me teach this workshop for the second year in a row, and hopefully we can do it for many, many years to come. And I just want to thank you all again. I can't wait to meet you guys and help you get hired in Hollywood and be a resource for you as you continue with your job hunt. And again, my website's entrylevelhollywood.com. My name is Kate Lupo. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, and have a great rest of your evening.